It's time for the One Bar and Lupaga Show, bringing you anything and everything Minnesota Vikings.
Welcome to professional football.
All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupagus Show. I am One Bar with Lupagus, and today we are going to Fantasyland. We're going to the dream scenario for the Minnesota Vikings come draft day, and we're going to make all your dreams come true.
Yeah, it's pretty much a best case scenario. Some guys, and it happens every year though. Guys fall, you don't expect. So we're just going to lay out what our dream draft scenario would be. I think it all starts at, well, obviously it's going to start at pick 22, but it's going to start with a guy like Andrew Thomas, the big offensive tackle from Georgia, ready to go. This guy's plug and play ready. You put him at left tackle, and you make a decision on Riley Reiff.
Yeah, we get Andrew Thomas at pick 22. There's going to have to be some big moves taken ahead of us, some trades, some goofy picks, which we will always see. So even though Andrew Thomas is a dream scenario, I would say there's a tiny bit chance that this could actually happen.
Yeah, you have to see those linebackers go. You'd probably need to see all four quarterbacks go, 3 or 4.
Maybe a safety or two.
And a weird pick, like Clelin Ferrell from last year, something bizarre that no one sees for this to happen. But there is just a slim chance. It could be him, it could be Jedrick Wills, who knows? But there's a chance one of those tackles falls. So we're going to go Andrew Thomas because we love him. And man, could you imagine having this guy in the team for the next decade?
If we got Andrew Thomas at pick 22, we could just pretty much walk away from the draft and just be just fine with that, because he would come in. We'd still have Riley Reiff, but we can figure that out later, what happens with him, whether he kicks inside or we just flat out release his ass. But Andrew Thomas is ready to roll. He's going to be a fantastic left tackle, and my seed would be all over the place.
Yeah, this dream scenario is starting off very wet.
Yeah, this is a wet dream scenario.
We're going to give you even more soaked here with the next pick, 25, Christian Fulton, cornerback from LSU. He's got the Mike Zimmer size, the length. He's a press corner. Yeah, he stays on his man like glue. Doesn't have a ton of career stats, but a lot of teams didn't throw his way. There's some character flags about this guy, but to me, he just looks exactly like what Mike Zimmer's looking for in his starting cornerback. And I think he would actually come in and compete for one of those starting jobs.
Oh, he'd come in day one, try to get a starting spot in the secondary. And with Fulton, it's all about potential. He's got all the tools. He's got the size. And Zimmer could massage him into a fantastic corner. I think he would make a huge impact as a rookie. And at 25, even though we're in dream scenario, I think there's actually a decent chance of him being there. But we know how teams get very, very hot and heavy for corners. So we shall see. But Christian Fulton at 25 would be fantastic. The thought of Andrew Thomas and Fulton in round 1.
You could walk away and you'd already be a winner from this draft.
You got 2 starters right off the bat in round 1, and 2 starters at positions that we desperately need.
But let's keep going here with this dream. This dream ain't over yet. We're gonna build.
I wish I could do the Wayne's World thing.
Round 2, wide receiver Brandon Ayuk from Arizona State. He's not gonna burn you with his speed, but he's got good size. I think he's like 6'2". Smooth route runner, very sure hands, and he actually is sneaky fast. This guy wins with his routes. He wins with his smarts, and he's got those reliable hands. So definitely a guy who could come in. I don't know if he would start, but he definitely I think he'd see, 10, 12 snaps a game, get some targets thrown his way, get worked in slowly. But, he's your number 2 receiver of the future if you get this guy in round 2.
Yeah, like you said, he's not the fastest guy, but when he gets the ball in his hands, he sure seems like he's very, very speedy. He can move, he can shake.
A lot of yak with this guy.
Huh?
A lot of yak yards after the catch.
A lot of yak. Yes, and he's a return man. We can use him in a number of ways. I think he'd be kind of a gadget guy as a rookie for sure. And he would come in, be a number 3 receiver probably, make some plays. This guy's projected anywhere from mid-round 1. I shouldn't say late round 1 to anywhere in mid-round 2. So to get him in round 2 would be a huge steal, and he would be Kirk Cousins' pal.
Yeah, and like Christian Fulton, I mean, while this is a dream for us, it's not like it's an impossible dream. It's definitely within the realm of reality. It could happen. It's not that far-fetched.
It's not that far-fetched, but I could see teams falling in love with Ayuk. and taking him earlier than he probably should go.
Yeah, and
I've seen him projected many times to the Vikings in round 1, which is scary. Round 2 is huge value. Round 1 scares me a little bit.
Yeah. All right, so let's keep going here. Let's go round 3, first pick. You know, Mike Zimmer is going to want a guy who can create that pressure on the inside of his defensive line. So he's looking at Alabama defensive tackle Raekwon Davis. This guy's got freakish size, freakish speed. He does have some issues. He hasn't really been productive for about 2 years. He had a great, I think it was a sophomore season where he was just destroying everybody. Since then, he's kind of just disappeared. But all the potential is there, and you get a guy like Andre Patterson coaching this kid, and I think just the sky's the limit for him. You gotta let it fire under his big ass, but if you do, I think he could be a dominating player for a long, long time.
Yeah, I know what I love about this guy. When he makes a play, he is very, very energetic about it. He's kind of like Everson Griffin. He makes a play, he's going to let you know he made that play. He's going to get everybody fired up. He is going to command double teams. He is a man amongst boys out there, and you know, like you said, his sophomore year was his coming out party, and people think that he's kind of peaked. But even if he's peaked, he's still a pretty damn good player, and I could see him being a starter in the NFL for sure. As a rookie, he would add fantastic depth that we need.
Yeah, you got to think he would compete for Armand Watts with that. You know, if Mike Zimmer does go that route, he could definitely just go with 2 big boys in the middle and not have that 3 technique guy. But yeah, Davis is just weird, and I think it's for him being there with the Vikings pick in round 3. It's slim, but teams could be very put off by his just lack of production the last couple of years. There's questions about his overall stamina. He seems to get tired as games go on. So there's a lot of red flags that could cause this guy to fall. So I don't think him being in round 3 is that crazy. But for us, it would be a dream scenario. We'd love it.
Would be a dream scenario. He is another guy that I could see going as early as round 2, or just a guy that keeps creeping down in the round 3. So like our first round guys, I think there is a mild chance. But what do we got in round? We're still in round 3 and in round 3.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks use their first round pick on Raekwon Davis the way they've been drafting lately.
Yeah, I can see it absolutely. I would just say, yeah, that makes sense. That's what they do.
They do. Next guy we're gonna go. He's a guard tackle prospect from just down the road at St. John's, Ben Barch.
Hell yeah.
Big, mean, physical guy. He's a small schooler, but he held his own at the Senior Bowl. We both love this guy. The Vikings have already met with him. They're interested. Make a lot of sense. He could play one of those guard spots as a rookie, and as he progresses and gets bigger and stronger, maybe you think about moving him to a tackle spot down the road. But Ben Barch would solve a lot of problems on his offensive line early in his career.
Yeah, could you imagine getting Andrew Thomas and Ben Barch in the same draft? Thomas obviously would be our left tackle. Ben Barch could be a guy that adds depth at tackle, can play guard. I think he comes in right off the bat and beats out Pat Elflein, no problem. Yeah, like you said, he held his own at the Senior Bowl, and not only held his own, but he stood out. And Riley Reif would be very, very scared if this was his scenario.
Yeah, and then you look to move him, maybe get some more picks. I mean, there's got to be some teams that would want Riley Reif. He's still got a couple years left in his body. He is older, but I would still call him an average left tackle in the NFL. That contract is a problem, so you'd have to find a team that's willing to pay for that. But who knows?
Yeah, as much shit as everybody gives Riley Reif, it's not fair, because when you look at his stats and you look at his play, he is probably a lot better than a lot of the other left tackles in this league. And you're right, he still has a lot to offer. He's still a very good tackle. So I just wanted to say that.
No, the problem is he's due like $11 million next year, and he's 37 years old, and not a lot of teams are. Maybe the Texans would be willing to pay that. I don't know.
Yeah, they would probably give us a first-round pick for him.
They might. Round 4, if this guy's there and we get him, I'm screaming. I'm going to go streak in the woods. Darrell Taylor, the defensive end from Tennessee. The Vikings need to get some more depth at defensive end. They're set at the top with Daniil Hunter, who's probably the best in the NFL. And you got Ifeadi Adenabo, who's ready to break out. He broke out last year, but he could take that next step, be a double-digit sack guy going forward. But there is no depth behind these guys. If one of them get hurt, you cannot rely on Eddie Yarbrough and Anthony Zettel to come in and
gross.
kind of an impact. Yeah, it's horrible. you got to get a rookie, and I think they got to do it in the first. I mean, ideally, you do it in the first 3 rounds. If it doesn't happen, round 4, if Darrell Taylor's there, I mean, we've talked about in an old video that we did. He's basically the same size as Danielle Hunter, kind of the same situation where he's a lot of upside right now. But Andre Patterson did it with Danielle Hunter, and why couldn't he not do it with Darrell Taylor?
Yeah, the thing with the Vikings is they always seem to have some mid to late round defensive linemen on their roster that they're just kind of massaging and hoping they turn into somebody. And right now, we don't have those guys. We have Eddie Yarbrough and who else?
Anthony Zettel.
Yeah, Anthony Zettel. We don't have that young guy, so I fully expect them to bring in at least a couple young guys to start bringing up and hopefully add some depth and do what they've done in the past, like with the Danielle Hunter and Taylor in round 4. That would probably be all right. Anthony Thomas would be the best value, but he'd be pretty damn close because round 4 is pretty damn good for him.
Yeah, that would be ideal. That would be amazing. I would be very excited with Darrell Taylor in round 4.
Before we get into round 5, what's our draft looking like so far?
Andrew Thomas, Christian Fulton, Brandon Ayuk, Raekwon Davis, Ben Barch, and Darrell Taylor.
You know what that sounds like?
It's like wet sheets.
It sounds like wet sheets in a dream scenario, baby. All right, let's go to round 5. I can only imagine.
Well, I think everybody knows who this is going to be. The local boy, wide receiver, Tyler Johnson from the Golden Gophers. What can you say? I mean, this guy just looks like a number 1 receiver out on the field. I think he's only 6'2", but he looks much bigger. He's got kind of big, wide shoulders. He
plays mean.
He plays mean. He shows up in big spots. He's got – I would still say he's got pretty good hands overall. He does drop the occasional pass, but he's physical. He can dominate, and you just love how he shows up when on the biggest stages.
Yeah, he with him pairing him with Brandon Ayuk and Thielen, Tajay Sharp, BC Johnson, our receiving core goes from mildly shit to pretty damn exciting because Tyler Johnson, I mean, look at the last drafts. We always see receivers drop, and in this class, they're definitely going to drop, whether it's Tyler Johnson or somebody else. Guys are going to fall. Was it Hakeem Nicks last year? Or when did he go? I mean,
it wasn't Hakeem Nicks.
Like round 4.
Round 5 of the Cardinals. Hakeem Butler, who you're thinking of.
Yes, Butler, not Nicks. Yeah, so we see these guys every single year, and Tyler Johnson, I'm afraid, might get lumped into that group that just continues to fall for no damn reason. And he is ready. I think as a rookie, he is for sure a number 3 receiver, worst case number 4. And with our depth chart over the next couple of years, he's a guy that could just bing.
Well, there's part of the reason why he could fall is because he hasn't done much this draft season. I think he did some drills at the combine, but he didn't. He was going to be the East-West Shrine game. Something went wrong there where he dropped out of that or had to. Wasn't invited to the Senior Bowl. Then he only just shows up to do position drills at the combine. So he didn't exactly ace this whole draft season process. He didn't really help himself. So that's why I wouldn't be surprised, with a deep class, as good as he is and as good as he can be, if he actually fell to the 5th round. I mean, you always say every year, I would be shocked if this happens, and it happens. So I'm trying to prepare myself that he could actually be there this late in the process.
Yeah, and you always see if it's any position, it's always receivers that you're just like, how the hell is this guy still on the board? And, whatever team ends up getting him, hopefully it's the Vikings, are going to benefit from the fact that he kind of stepped on his dick when it came to this offseason. Like you said, East-West Shrine game, he kind of stepped off. He didn't run at the 40. Nobody even knows what his 40 is. So some team is going to benefit greatly from the fact that he's really done nothing this offseason. And hopefully it's the Vikings.
Maybe he'll do an at-home 40 and he'll run like a 2.6.
Oh, God. I think I ran a 2.6 today.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over this. Let's go over it one more time.
All right, we've got Andrew Thomas, the offensive tackle from Georgia. Christian Fulton, cornerback, LSU. Wide receiver, Brandon Ayuk from Arizona State. Defensive tackle, Raekwon Davis from Alabama. Ben Barch from St. John's. Darrell Taylor, defensive end from Tennessee. And Tyler Johnson, wide receiver from Minnesota. Boom.
Boom. Yes, that sounds fantastic. We're not even going to go to round 6 or round 7. We got so many of those damn picks.
Doesn't matter.
It's a crapshoot. Let's just say, I mean, out of those 2 rounds, I mean, who's one dream pick between 6 and 7 that you'd want the Vikings to bring in?
I love Dane Jackson, the cornerback out of Pittsburgh. I think he's actually a guy who could come in and compete for some time as a rookie. Plays a lot of high energy. He's smart, good ball skills. He did very well at the Senior Bowl. So Dane Jackson is a guy I definitely have my eye on. Round 6, round 7.
I'm gonna go Anthony Gordon, quarterback from Washington State. He is a guy that would get fans very excited in the fourth quarter of preseason games. He comes in, he's a gunslinger. He only had 1 year. He put up some big numbers. There's some intrigue around him. He's definitely rough around the edges, but come round 6 or 7, it definitely well worth the pick. And I actually do hope the Vikings bring in a quarterback in late rounds, and he'd be the guy that I'd want.
Are you calling him the next Kyle Sloter?
No, I would never go that far.
Yeah.
No, never.
All right. Well, that's our dream draft. It wouldn't get much better than that. But maybe, you know what? Maybe the Vikings will do even better than that.
Oh, God. I hope so. They might.
Yeah, but, we got to be wary about that. Remember the 2007 draft where they pretty much took everybody we wanted, and we only hit on 2 picks.
It's all right. That's all right. It made us feel good. There's nothing better than walking away from a draft weekend and knowing you got your guys, whether or not they end up performing, deep in your heart that we got our guys.
Yeah. So it's on them if they don't perform. So until then, we'll be back talking about something else very soon. Until then, here's a little fact for you guys to chew on. Turns out llamas will bite each other's testicles off. They even have special teeth to do so.
Doesn't even make sense.
Don't get a pet llama.